Come on, Tails, good girl. Good evening, and welcome to A Walk with Tilly. Another glorious summer's evening where it is warm. It's been hot today, crazy hot, but it's cooling off now, which is lovely. So me and young Tilly have decided to take a stroll. Anyway, I'm just putting together my thoughts on the Conservative leadership struggle. Supposing Boris doesn't find some way to wiggle out of departure, I can't make my mind up whether I think he's going to try or whether he's now decided it's time to go. And let's be honest, being Prime Minister's pretty damn hard work, and it doesn't seem that Boris is overly keen on damned hard work. You get the distinct impression, and his reputation precedes him, that he isn't awfully keen. So maybe he's decided, do you know what, a little 115,000 in the pocket, a speaking tour, and off we go. Life might not be so bad after office, but who knows? But he might like the power, king of the world reputation that he once claimed to want to be. That aside, there are now a lot of runners and riders in the race for the leadership of the Conservative Party, of which I just, looking at the voting records of Conservative MPs and what they actually want, it just makes me deeply uncomfortable. Deeply uncomfortable. And the current leader of the bunch, I'm finding it difficult to believe I'm saying this, is Sulela Braverman, who, she's not woke. And when I say that, I don't mean it as a compliment. This individual has voted against just about anything that I personally would consider as progress over the last 20 years. So I don't think that people are happy, they're cheering because freedom of movement has gone. I don't think people are putting into perspective that our freedom of movement has gone. We have lost the right to live and work in any one of 28 member states of the EU. Now, Priti Patel was crowing about that as being a positive. I can't get it. For her, it's irrelevant. Let's be honest, once you've held an office of state, you pretty much have freedom of movement anywhere in the world whenever you want it. Unless you have done something specifically to another state that has been to their detriment, you're pretty much on the golden ticket is yours, so to speak. A quick word with the relevant authority, because obviously you will have access to direct contacts and you can go wherever you like. So her personally, I can understand that's not good. But how has she managed to convince the rest of the UK electorate that that's a good idea, or not the rest, but a significant portion of that electorate that's a positive? I find that puzzling, bemusing, fascinating and deeply disturbing. But that they have done, without a shadow of a doubt. The freedom movement is gone for a long while. Not just to people coming here, but to people who want to leave. You now have to jump through hoops, and believe me, they are hoops. Defies belief. But Sulela Braverman, who has endorsed all that, thinks all that's great as well. is now on a mission and has publicly stated she wants to get rid of the British membership to the European Court of Human Rights. This is a different level. So you not only want to take my ability to have the freedom of movement to leave if I don't like the show, you're now going to take away, you're going to see I'm trapped, and you're going to put me in a position where you're going to take away my human rights. Who's that benefit? Non-humans? I'm pretty much guessing probably not in the long term, but certainly they're going to go again. This is not going to end. This is definitely would be, that's the F word, because the only states within the European continent that could really be described as fascistic, and there are some that have leaders with overtures to wanting to be dictatorial, but really the only place where fascism could be described as being alive and well in its literal sense, I guess, would be Russia. I think it wouldn't be a stretch to describe the Putin regime as fascistic in their societal control, their state-led control, and their dictatorial leaders' exertion of that control. That would definitely be very high up that list, and guess what? They have left the European Court of Human Rights. They don't want anyone else to be able to have any say in what they are going to, the power they are going to exert over their populace, because they want complete control. That doesn't mean their populace, have control over what's going on. It means they have nowhere else to turn when their leaders decide to exert control over them. They don't have control. You are not getting control. You as a citizen of a nation that leaves the European Court of Human Rights are not getting control over your rights. That isn't what's happening. What's happening is somebody who is in control within your nation of the legislation on the rights that you as a citizen express no longer has to look elsewhere with concern if they take away those rights. It's and she's off and running. I say she wouldn't have, she doesn't, she's unlikely, but is she? It seems every time I think these things, I think there are boundaries of decency. I think there are levels of depravity beyond which we will not as a society venture because we've been gaslit into believing that that's in our self-interest. The media do an excellent job, certainly certain aspects. So a big chunk of them do, that make a very, very formidable argument for things that are not in the interest of their readers, of the people who view and read them. This isn't stopping. It's getting worse. We are. I'm not good with remembering who say things, but I will look it up and I'll put it in the description. It was said that fascism doesn't come all at once. It's an incremental journey. It's stages. Well, we are on that road. She coined the phrase cultural Marxism. Evidently. I don't think she did. I think it was around beforehand. I think she probably stole it off someone else. I can't believe she was bright enough to come up with anything original. But she may have done. But what is cultural Marxism? Think about it. Think what it is. Get the definition of it. Because it isn't generally attacking you, because it doesn't actually generally exist. When these individuals band around these phrases, cultural Marxism, wokists, leftists, attacking people, notice what they're doing. They're not attacking the specifics of what these people are saying or suggesting. They're attacking using a phrase, which is why I'm quite happy to use fascism in this case. The reason I'm happy to use it, I'm not happy to use it. I feel that it is an appropriate word to use. I'm incredibly unhappy to use it, is because when you take away people's rights and are suggesting removing a society from the Court of Human Rights. It's the European Court of Human Rights. It's the last place you can go if you're unhappy with your government. It's the last place you may have some redress. If you take that away from your citizens and you impose your specific views upon them and give them no other course of redress, we're there. That is it. That's fascistic. Cultural Marxism, next time someone says it to you, ask them to define it. Explain to me exactly what cultural Marxism is. Explain exactly what being anti-woke is. Most of the time, all it means that I can gather is it means I'm a bit racist. Quite often, anti-woke, I'm a bit racist, and I'm a bit homophobic, and a bit scared, because I don't really understand what's going on. I've heard The Spectator doing pieces that suggest that individuals from The Spectator, I haven't read actual articles, I'll correct that, but I have heard individuals from The Spectator, editors from The Spectator, implying that the next election, the battleground, is going to be trans rights. Trans rights. How many people are transsexual? It isn't many. They deserve a few rights. I don't think that defining a woman, that was what the... can you define a woman? Why is this so important? Yes we can. I think we probably can safely define a woman. Can we express that gender is a spectrum? Yeah, I think we probably can without doing each other too much harm. Can we make up stories as to why we're terrified that... It feels to me... Okay, I'm a white, middle-class, heterosexual male, so all the cards are in my favour. But I can look back at historical instances where things like homosexuality, before it became legal, it was used as a derogatory comment to slur. The accusations were that these people may be deviant. They may be likely to do something that is unpleasant. They may be deviant by nature, which they're no more deviant than anyone else. The same way, I'm pretty damn sure, I don't know, again, I'm sure you could do statistic analysis on it though, and then put your how you act accordingly from that. So, let's suggest that trans are given rights that allows them to effectively enter what would be classed as a woman-only space. Are they any more likely, once there, to commit crime that is at the detriment of those women. If they are, then we definitely need to do something about that. There needs to be regulation to protect the people who are under attack. But if that is not something that actually is happening, then what the hell are we doing? I heard an MP put an article together saying he was terrified for his daughters. He feared for his daughters because they would go to university and they may end up in a hall of residence where there were transsexuals. So what? They may end up in a hall of residence where there are psychopathic murderers. It's not bloody likely. It's possible. But why is that any more likely than... It's like they've got to create a monster, create some fear, create something you can point at to say, look over there, they're doing you harm. While those individuals are busy doing you harm, slipping away, taking your human rights away, taking your freedom of movement away, taking your opportunity to have access to other societies without having to go through bureaucratic hoops or have access to wealth and money. Let's be honest, if you're wealthy enough, the doors are open. You can go wherever you like, do whatever you like pretty much within reason. If they're not, those doors shut pretty swiftly. And if those doors are shut to you, then if things don't pan out as you hope within your country, and you do end up with a despotic leader, your options to leave are restricted. Massively. That's not a good thing. It can't be a good thing. It's like the attacks on not migrants generally, but particularly on the refugee population. These people are desperate. They've got nowhere else to go. They need to go somewhere where they feel safe and secure. Having the option to do that in any one of a different number of countries is really important. And I hear people say, why do they come so far? The massive majority of them don't. The country that accepts the most refugees in the world, statistically, actually using numbers, is Turkey. It's the places that are closest to where the reason for people to have to migrate and become refugees from their countries of origin, are. Those are the places that accept the most. The UK is not one of those. Yet if you read our newspapers, you would think that it was an avalanche. It was 28,000 people last year. There's places that have accepted millions. They accept vastly more in Germany, France, basically every other member state of the EU. But what they do is they process those asylums. They determine if they are genuine refugees. If they are, then they get given the rights to work and in those societies. We don't do that. We give these people like £5 a day or something and put them in a house, whilst having a massive shortfall of labour. We have problems filling the job vacancies we've got, and we have people coming here who would be capable of filling those, who are desperate, who are quite deserved of their claim to refugee status, to safety. Tilly! But instead of offering those people, of reviewing them, putting the funding into actually allowing those people for us to check and see if they are deserving of that status, the vast majority are, on claim, even on when it goes back again. Even more of them, it turns out, are, because the process that we use isn't very good, they become productive members of society. They're usually really grateful. They're usually put back in, on average, migrants and refugees add more to the societies that they visit when they are allowed the rights of the citizens of those societies than the actual citizens of the societies, the indigenous population. It's just mental. We live in a world which doesn't actually look at data. It pretends and lies that it isn't happening. I'm going to do a Brexit video, I think, again, and just try and run through some of in my own head some of the ridiculous things that we are claiming. Anyway, that's far too long. That's a long video. It's going to take a day to upload the damn thing. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to leave you from just the most stunningly beautiful English evening. No wonder people would like to come here at the moment. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm very lucky. Very, very lucky. And so Tilly, wherever she's gone. So, it's bye from me and Tilly.